Welcome to the Selling from the Heart podcast on the Salescast Network. You've joined a global movement of sales professionals who are dedicated to being authentic and building trust. We call it Selling from the Heart. Together, we are on a mission to bring sincerity and substance to the sales profession we all love. Get ready to be inspired and equipped as we join our hosts, Larry Levine and Darrell Amy.
Hey there, everyone. This is Larry. I want to take a moment to express my heartfelt gratitude for the incredible support you've shown since Selling in a Post-Trust World book launched earlier in August. Thanks to you, Selling in a Post-Trust World is making waves and helping sales professionals everywhere build authentic relationships. If you haven't grabbed your copy yet, head over to barnesandnoble.com and order yours today. And here's a special thank you. When you leave a review of the book, we'll give you instant access to our exclusive Selling in a Post-Trust World private podcast. This 12-episode series dives deeper into each chapter, offering actionable insights to elevate your sales game. Don't miss out. Order your copy, leave a review, and unlock exclusive content designed to help you sell from the heart. For more details, go to sellinginaposttrustworld.com. Thank you. Thank you for being part of this movement. Together, we're transforming the world of sales, one authentic relationship at a time.
Hello, and welcome back to the Selling from the Heart podcast. Your co-host, Darrell Amy, here today with Larry Levine. What's going on, Larry?
We got all kinds of things going on. Fall is well in the air. Leaves are brown. Air's getting a little crisp, but things are heating up here at Selling from the Heart, Darrell, let me tell you.
And they are. We got Guitze Messina, author of the book MONEYCALL, right here in the studio with us. And here we are. This is releasing just after the American Thanksgiving holiday. And I want to say I am grateful, Larry. I'm grateful for the entire community here at Selling from the Heart and all of the folks we get to interact with on a regular basis. Thank you. Thank you for being who you are. Thank you for selling with integrity, with honesty, with valuing trust, all of these things we hold near and dear to our hearts. It's great to just be a part of such an amazing community.
No, absolutely. And all of this doesn't happen without you, but this is going to be a great tie into Guy, kind of a segue into Guy, but I have to give a special shout out. Darrell, you know this person. He's a big fan, big supporter of us here at Selling from the Heart. And that's Terry Schaefer. Terry Schaefer is a true kindred spirit. Wears the Selling from the Selling from the Heart hat. Hi, he waves the flag. He's a great guy. Terry Schaefer, we appreciate you.
Yeah, here. Shout out to you, Terry. We really appreciate you. And it's just a great honor and privilege to have Guitze Messina here in the podcast studio today. Guy is a distinguished leader in the HVAC industry and the author of MONEYCALL, a proactive sales method for recurring sales with less prospecting. With decades of experience in developing strategic partnerships and driving growth initiatives, he brings a wealth of knowledge in enhancing service outcomes and fostering innovation in the HVAC industry. His leadership is deeply rooted in integrity and heart-centered values, aligning perfectly with the ethos of our podcast and our community here at Selling from the Heart. He's passionate about creating lasting value in organizations by focusing on trust, meaningful relationships, and genuine care, essential elements for any sales professional, especially those in the HVAC industry. Guy, welcome to the Selling from the Heart podcast. It's awesome to have you here.
Hey, great to be here, guys. We're going to have fun.
I know
we are. Yes, we are. And to kick it off, Guy, you know the question that every guest on the Selling from the Heart podcast answers, and that is, what does it mean to you to sell from the heart?
Okay, I'm going to give you a little bit of a longer answer for that because it's a beautiful question. But going from the one and perhaps only law in sales, nobody likes to be sold, but we all love to buy. So if nobody likes to be sold, why are we selling? So my definition of sales is learn what your customer actually buys. Learn what your customer actually buys. And I'll talk about a little bit through the conversation, but if we're learning what they actually buy, then selling from the heart is making it easy to have them buy from us what they really want. We just make it easy. We get the information and we make it easy so they buy from us. We solve a problem. We solve a situation that they have, and they are happy to buy from us. That is selling from the heart to me. Get the information from what the customer really wants and make it easy for him to just take it away. How's that, guys?
Okay. So this is good. So now we're going to play on this just for a little bit. And I know we're going to dive into a really good conversation. I want to play on this word easy. I love it. But I'm going to flip this around, Guy, and I know you can handle this. It's the why question. And the why question is this: why do so many in sales make it so difficult instead of so easy?
Well,
looking at this through your lens, what do you think that is?
I really think that a lot of people are not really well trained in sales. They don't learn that the customer needs to be the one talking the most. We need to understand what is it that is their problem. What is the situation going on? And we think that we need to give them a pitch. We need to say why our product is better than the next one. And that is not the problem. If we don't solve a problem, we're not really selling anything. So the first thing is learn what is the problem from your customer. And that's what makes it hard. Because if I am telling you why my product is better than the other product that you've been looking at, I'm not taking the time to say, hey, Larry, how long have you been living in this house? Oh, for 10 years. What is it that now makes you decide to install an air conditioner? You see, I need to get information why that decision is coming along now. I didn't think I needed, but it's getting hotter every year. And whatever information I am getting, I need to have a process in order to get that information. And that is the reason why it is so hard for sellers, because they think they need to be talking all the time instead of asking questions and to be listening to understand the problem of the customer. Did that answer your question, Larry?
Absolutely. I just threw it out there because I want to know what's going on inside Guy's head. That's why I threw the question out.
Well, hey,
it's got to be easy. It's got to be easy.
It's got to be easy. And I'll tell you, one thing that's easy to do is to go to Amazon right now and buy a copy of MONEYCALL, your new book, a proactive sales method for recurring sales with less prospecting. So talk to us about this. I like this recurring sales, and I know everyone listening in likes this less prospecting. What's the premise behind the MONEYCALL book and your methodology?
Yeah, so a lot of industries, like the HVAC industry, it's recurrent sales. So the same customers are buying from you all the time. Now, there are certain industries like real estate, car sales, software, life insurance that you're going to have to find a customer every time. So you need to do a lot of prospecting for those. But if you're doing prospecting in a recurrent sale industry, you're doing yourself a disservice, because what you should be doing is talking to those recurrent customers and asking them 5 key questions to understand what is it that they buy. And the number one key question that you want to ask is, what is it that you like about doing business with us? And just shut up. What do you like about doing business with us? And he's never going to say the product. If you sell product, you sell price. He's never going to say the product. It's always going to be, hey, you guys have the best warranty in the business. You guys deliver faster than anybody else. You guys really take care of me when I don't know how to install something. You are on the phone with me at any time of the day to help me get the install correct. So that is what you want to listen to. And another mistake sellers make is that you ask that question, and immediately when you get one answer, you go into question number 2. Instead of saying, great, I'm glad that you like our warranty. Besides the warranty, what else that you like about doing business with us? And you don't stop until they say, hey, Guy, that's it. Until the customer says, that's everything that I buy from you guys. This is the reason. You don't stop asking, and what else? And what else? Okay. The second question is, great. So what is it that you like about doing business with the competition? and you shut up. And then they're going to say, they have better pricing than you. Whatever they say, you don't defend yourself. You're there to get information again, right? You don't defend yourself and you say, hey, I'm glad that you're getting the pricing that you want. Besides good pricing, what else is it that you like about doing business with the competition? And you're writing everything down and you're keeping on asking until he says, that's it. And then you ask the third question, what percentage of everything that you buy in HVAC do you buy from us? What percentage of everything you buy do you buy from us? And let's say they say 20%. That question is exactly made in order to prevent prospecting. Because if the customer says 20%, now you must be thinking, wow, I got 80% chance of increasing my sales with this particular client. And the number one person that is at fault for all the prospecting going on in recurrent sales is the sales manager. Because when he sees a salesperson not talking to a client or not getting enough business, he said, start calling people, start prospecting. We need to do. And that is the last thing we need to do. We need to analyze our 80-20. We need to analyze the 20% of the clients in my list that are making 80% of my sales. So I can talk to the 21, to the 22, to the 23% that I'm not paying so much attention to and making these calls and asking these 5 questions. Does that make sense?
Yep. Continue. So I just, and we'll get to the other questions here in a second, but there's something that I want people to really key on what Guy just said is, and I'm a big fan of this. We grow our business through our customers, not at the expense of our customers. And, Darrell's referred to this, and we've talked about this on Selling from the Heart podcast, the old phrase, low-hanging fruit, things like that. There's a lot of that sitting with your customers. And I'm glad you brought up Pareto's principle, the 80-20 rule and things like that. People, there's a lot of untapped, low-hanging fruit sitting there if you just simply ask and you look at how many products, whatever industry y'all are calling in, look at how many products y'all have. How many of those can that fit inside my current customer base? And you'll be surprised how you can expand this real quick. Absolutely. I mean, it just this ties in exactly what you're saying.
Yes, because we don't nurture our current customers. We don't understand them. We're not going deeper into asking questions. We're not selling as much as we can. And that is the main reason why we need to pay attention. Instead of looking for someone that doesn't know what we sell, doesn't know our products, doesn't even have credit with us, let's find out more about our current customers. And that is why the 5 questions are there. But after the 5 questions, you also have repetitive questions every month that you need to be asking. And that's why the sales quadrant is there. Because the first thing that we need to find out is, what is their buying pattern? So let's say Larry buys from me mini splits every month, and he buys 5 mini splits every month, more or less. Okay. But before I call, I have to make an analysis of Larry's buying pattern. I know what he buys already by the 5 questions. He buys my warranty. He likes the fact that I respond quickly. He likes the pricing from my competition. Okay, I know that. But now I see that he buys 5 mini splits every month, but it's been 2 months that he hasn't bought any. So this is my call to Larry. Hey, Larry, this is Guy with Hardy Latam. And I want to give you personalized service like I mentioned the last time. And I see that you normally buy 5 mini splits from us every month, but the last 2 months, you haven't bought any. Is there any reason for that? And just shut up. Is there any reason for that? And now Larry has to say, hey, Guy, I forgot. Hey, Guy, I found somebody that I like better. Hey, Guy, there is another product that I'm really interested in, and you don't have XYZ that product has. Whatever information he's going to provide, I have to make sure that I get that information soon, because it's a lot easier to take Larry away from the competition after 2 months than after 2 years. So the other thing that this teaches you, this system teaches you, is you have to be proactive. You can't wait for Larry to call me. You have to be set up to call Larry and ask the questions, because who controls the conversation?
Very good. Very good. I love this. This framework is extremely powerful. And I want to go back to the 5 questions, because we got what do you like about working with us? What do you like about working with competitor? What %, question number 3, of your business, do you run through us versus somebody else? Help me remember questions 4 and 5 in that list, because I know those are extremely powerful.
Number 4 is super powerful. Just so you have an understanding, going back to Larry's theme here, going into our clients, everybody that does this pattern, they increase sales between 20 to 35% by being proactive and asking the right questions. So the number 4 question is super powerful. What is it that you've been looking for lately that you haven't been able to find?
Good.
What is it that you've been looking for lately that you haven't been able to find? With all these issues with the war in Ukraine and logistics and everything, we're going through tough times finding certain parts. So you want to ask that question and get the customer to just bleed out and tell you, oh my God, I'm going crazy about this and that and this and that. And some things you may be able to help and some things you may not. But those things that you are able to help, you're going to be a superhero when you say, hey, Larry, I can definitely help you with this. Now, number 5 is a question that is very important to make sure that our customers know us as a partner. So we want to say, hey, Mr. Contractor, I know that you probably want to get into a niche market that you haven't been able to penetrate. If you're able to let me know what that is, I am sure that we have been able to sell in every market there is in our area. Perhaps we can help you penetrate that niche. What niche could that be? And just shut up and let them tell you, I've been trying to get into residential so much. I've been trying to get into commercial. I've been trying to get into the VRF train. I've been trying to get into the mini split, whatever it is. You just want to listen, because now he's saying, oh my God, this guy Guy, he's not just caring about selling me something. He wants to help me grow. And if I want to help him grow, he wants to do more business with me, and he's going to open up and give me more of his business. And this is selling from the heart, guys. Selling from the heart, looking to help your customer. And that is question number 5. Does that make sense, Darrell?
No, this does. And I'm sitting there listening to this, and here's what just races through my head. It's proactive versus reactive.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing too that really plays into this is service versus to serve. Yes. And quite often we get caught up in, and I think it's a delicate balance of both. But quite often as salespeople, we get caught up in service-oriented things. These are reactive-oriented things.
Mm-hmm.
What Guy's talking about, if I, and I think that's where Guy's going with this. This is proactive, serving type mentality, as opposed to reactive, service-oriented. Now, y'all can think about this for a bit, but there's some gold in what Guy was saying, regardless of what industry you're calling on. And I know Guy's got expertise in HVAC, so there's a lot of HVAC lingo, but this all plays out. Regardless of your industry, you can take those questions and reframe those specifically into your industry. And I've always said this, the more that you learn from your customers, the more you earn from your customers. The more you know about them, the more you grow with them. And this is all about proactive, intentional, serving type mentality. I love it, Guy.
That's why we talk about recurrent sales, because everything that has to do with distribution. Let's talk about selling paper and envelopes, right? So if you're selling paper and envelope, you're selling to the same customers every month. They're going to call you and say, hey, I need X, how many folders or whatever it is. It's a recurrent sale business. So everything that is recurrent sales, this technique will apply. It will not apply selling software because you need to find new customers for that. After they bought the software, you need to find a new one. It will not apply with real estate. Somebody buys a house, they're not going to buy a house next month. They're probably going to do it 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now. But when it's something that you buy very often, that is why recurrent sales. So the manufacturer sells to the same distributor all the time. If you manufacture paper, you're going to sell to the same distributor every month. If you are a distributor, you're going to sell to the same office every month or every 2 months. It's a recurrent sales. Now, in our chain, the manufacturer sells to the distributor, recurrent. The distributor sells to the contractor, recurrent. Now, the contractor is not recurrent. This is where the chain breaks. And this is where we have the dealer system in our industry. We're one of the few that realizes that breaks the chain. He needs to find someone that needs a new air conditioner in order to be able to sell. So what is it that the manufacturer and the distributor do? They help the contractor in marketing because the contractor is good at installing, but he doesn't know anything about marketing. He doesn't know much about sales either, but he knows about turning wrenches. He knows about installing. So we help them with marketing because that keeps the whole chain being pulled. That's what we need. Selling from the heart, guys. We help our customer get more clients so we get more clients. That's it.
Awesome. Where were you in 1997 when I took my first job? I was selling directly to end users in the office technology business, and I had a recruiter call me one day, and I took this job working in the distribution side. So I was selling to dealers, or I always said I was selling through dealers, because if they didn't sell anything, I didn't get any orders. And so, there's lots of folks listening in that sell too, but there's also people who are further back in the chain that sell through. And I got to say, hats off for writing this book, because there's not a lot written out there to people who are in the wholesale side of things selling through. And I think, the temptation is exactly, if you're in that business, the temptation is to just kind of wait for the orders to come in and cross your fingers and hope there's no problems, right? There's no back orders or service problems. But if you get proactive about this is where you really can grow your business. And I think it's super powerful.
And the problem with waiting for the calls is the 20% of the clients that do 80% of your sales, they're going to keep calling you because they like you. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that we have, that the book is actually a novel. So the novel says in one of the chapters that, hey, your best customers, they want to be your customers. Mm-hmm. So they're going to call you. Those are no problem. The thing is, the other 80% that are not calling you or not calling you as often, this is why you need to be proactive and ask the question to get the information. Hey, Larry, what is it that you're not buying in the last couple of months? So now you get the information. And the second question would be what we call quadrant 2 question is, hey, Larry, I'm really happy that you buy the 5 mini splits every month. And I see that you just bought some last week. But I see that you don't buy any refrigerant with that. Is there any reason for that? And you just shut up now. And 80% of the time, customers say, refrigerant? I didn't even know you had it. Tubing? I didn't know you had it. Mm-hmm. Oh, you sell paper, but you also sell folders? I didn't know you sold folders. Oh, you sell envelopes as well? I didn't know it. So this is the reason why you ask questions, especially in our industry. Normally, a distributor would have 5 to 15,000 SKUs. Darrell, you have a lot of listeners. But if I told you, do you know the name of every one of your listeners? You're going to say, hey, I don't even know the name of my children, right? So that is the thing. It's impossible to remember 15,000 SKUs. So they're going to think that when I buy paper, I buy it from XYZ. When I buy envelope, I'm going to buy it from somebody else. When I buy folders, I'm going to buy from somebody else until I have a proactive salesperson telling me, hey, I see that you buy paper, but you never buy envelope. Is there any reason for that? Oh, I didn't even know. You see, now by being proactive, you're able to find out things that are related to what they buy, but they're not buying. So it has to make sense. You have to make an analysis. And this is where I think AI is going to be big in making salespeople Superman. It's going to be a superpower. And I hope that a lot of salespeople that are listening to this start listening to AI tools, because this is a kind of analysis that could be made a lot quicker with AI. So you know that the next call that I make to Darrell, I can ask the right question based on what is it that he normally buys and he should buy, but he's not buying it. Because I can't just say, let's say you buy wax for your car. It makes sense that I say, hey, Darrell, I see that you buy wax for your car every month from us, but you don't buy any tire shine. Any reason for that? It makes sense because obviously you're doing something for your car and you want to make it shiny. But it wouldn't make any sense for me to say, hey, Darrell, I see that you buy turtle wax every month for your car, but you don't buy any tires from us. There's no relationship with that. So you also need to make sure that what you're asking makes sense, so it's easier for the customer to provide the information that you need. Either I didn't know that you had it, I quoted 6 months ago and it was too high, whatever information that you get. Now it's easier for you to solve the problem so you can make it easy for them to buy. Selling from the heart, guys.
This is good stuff. What we're talking about applies straight across the board. Doesn't matter what industry. Just imagine, just think for just a moment how much money companies are leaving on the table because they're not asking their clients, customers, however you want to refer to them, some basic questions. And then you get the response back that Guy said, you know what, Guy? I had no idea you guys sell some of this stuff, because no one's ever asked, because you're all focused on a certain niche inside that company. But yet, just imagine if you ask just a couple extra layer questions and you open up their thought process, which then opens up all the other things inside your company that you can bring in there. I mean, Darrell, this is like deja vu 101 from the industry we came out of, let me tell you.
I'm glad you like this.
Guy, this is flashback central, man.
I'm glad. It's a lot easier than people think, but you need to have the right structure. So the key here is you need to have the right structure and you need to have the right system. Okay. And when I say structure, is a lot of the HVAC or a lot of the distributors, they have a counter. Okay. So they're used to having either people come into the counter or call the counter people and say, hey, Guy, do you have XYZ part? Yes. How much is it? Okay, I'll go pick it up. Or could you send it to me and I'll get it tomorrow, whatever it is. So I'm still calling, but it's reactive because it is the customer that is initiating the call. Okay. And counter sales are 100% reactive. There's nothing you can do. We even changed the salespeople DNA by putting them in the counter. When we ask a counter person, we want you to make calls, they don't like that. They're used to just talking to whoever comes in. They feel more at ease. Okay. So changing the structure means you have to have someone on the phones to be able to be trained on the scripts that, just like I said, those 5 questions, what quadrant 1 question is, quadrant 2 question is, so they can ask the right question and get the right information. So now we can help the client buy from us. But you need the right DNA of that caller. And the same thing when you have a territory manager, somebody that actually visits the clients. And the first mistake that we make is assigning too many customers to a salesperson. So let's say I gave 250 clients to Larry for him to call. What are the probability of him getting in touch with those 250? His phone is going to be ringing off the hook. He is just put into a position where he cannot be proactive. Even if he wanted to, he cannot be proactive because the phone is going to be ringing with that 20% that always wants to buy from you. And then the other 20% that doesn't want to buy from you. They like your pricing, but they want to pitch it to the competition and say, hey, Larry, Guy is selling for XYZ price. What discount are you going to give me? Because it's easier for him to just go to that counter, whatever it is. They're going to pitch that price. They're not going to buy from you. So that phone is going to be ringing up the hook. And even if you have the training, if you have the system, you cannot be proactive. So if you don't have the right structure, you're dead. You're dead. You can't do everything that we just talked about. So the first thing you need to do is assign the right amount of clients. And what we have found is for a phone salesperson to be proactive, you cannot assign more than 100 clients. I'm going to repeat that. For a phone seller to be proactive, you cannot give him more than 100 clients to call upon. If you're someone that is a territory manager, somebody that is on the street calling on customers, you cannot have more than 25 to 30 accounts. Because if you do, you're not going to be proactive. You're going to go back to the office and the boss is going to say, hey, Guy, you should be out making calls, but you're here all the time. The phone is ringing off the hook. I can't go anywhere. That is a problem. You have to assign the right amount of clients in order for proactivity to be able to work. Does that make sense?
A ton. It really does. It really does. You know, I've been sitting here as we just have a fantastic conversation, and Guy, I've just been doing a little analysis, and I noticed your orders in flux capacitors have dropped off over the last couple of months. Is there a reason for that? Is there something we should know about?
That is beautiful. That's exactly it, man.
Hey, Guy, Darrell was paying attention, dude.
That's right. Hey,
he is.
I have a real question for you, and it's the question all our listeners are thinking right now is, how do I get more Guy Messina in my life?
Oh, absolutely. So you see my name is right there on the screen. So you can look for me on LinkedIn and we can stay in touch on LinkedIn for sure. You can definitely look for my book to see the weird name over here, right?
Yeah, we'll put it in the show notes.
On Amazon, right?
MONEYCALL.
And different from most sales books, I don't want to preach that I'm Einstein and make a 400-page book. I don't believe in that. I want a 106-page book that you can read in 2 flights and give you all the nitty-gritty. And all the scripts and everything is there because it's a novel. It's somebody that is implementing. I want people to think that they're in the driver's seat and they're implementing this in their industry. I have to say, I love the calls that I get all the time because my phone number is even on LinkedIn. I get phone calls. I get mail. I get so many people saying, my God, you made it so easy for me to understand what I need to do. And making it easy for the sales manager to understand is one thing, but for the salespeople, sales managers are key. If you're not on top of them, if you don't make sure that they use the right script, they want to go back to their old ways. And that's when we hire salespeople, we say, hire people that come from outside the industry, because everybody in the industry is going to come back and say, hey, I sell a ton of money and I don't need those scripts. I don't need to be proactive. I just need to be able to give them my charm. I'm the best. If you do that, you're not selling from the heart, boys. You need to be selling from the heart. You need to understand what is it that the customer buy to make it easy for them to buy from you. That's all we need to do. It sounds a lot easier, but it's a little bit complex when it comes to people that have been doing sales for a while because it's contrary to what they're normally thinking. And if they come from a recurrent sale industry, they're used to prospecting. If you're prospecting in a recurrent sale industry, you're doing yourself a disservice. Now I'm going to ask you guys a question. What is the number one thing that a salesperson needs to be doing in order to be effective? They can do 1,000 things, but the number one.
I got it, Darrell. No, they got to be listening to the Selling from the Heart podcast. Yeah. I knew it.
So the number 2 thing that they should be doing, what is it?
Well, real quick, what is it? We just got a second, but I don't know. Listen to Selling from the Heart podcast is definitely number 1. Number two?
Number one should be talking to a client.
That's
Nothing
right.
happens. You can't quote. You can't find out the information. You can't follow up on quotes. You can't do anything unless you're talking to a client. If you're prospecting, you're not talking to clients. You're talking to people that don't even know your name. So don't do prospecting if you are in recurrent sales until you've talked to all of the clients that you have, and then you find a new salesperson that is going to do prospecting. But until you do that, don't do any prospecting. Does that make sense?
It does. What a great conversation.
Oh, you're awesome.
Total pleasure. You've been such a champion for selling from the heart. And this has been an amazing, amazing episode. Thank you so much for sharing your time and your heart with us today.
We love you guys. Number one on Amazon.
All right, see you later, Guy. You're awesome. Thank you.
What a fun conversation, Larry.
You know, this is what was interesting about it. He brought up the word and it was over and over again, recurring. There's a lot of salespeople who listen to this podcast that are in that environment.
Yep.
Set aside, Guy's focus is in the HVAC industry. So a lot of, the terminology Guy used was that. Doesn't really matter. But he used the word recurring. There's a lot of you that are selling into recurring environments. Pay attention to your customers.
That's right.
Grow your business through your customers, not at the expense of your customers. Ask great questions.
Well, you're listening to this episode on the Saturday following American Thanksgiving. Once again, we're grateful, really, really thankful for the opportunity to share time with you every week. And we take that seriously. We'd love to hear from you. If there are topics you'd like us to cover, and we just give us a shout out, connect with us on LinkedIn, reach out through our website at sellingfromtheheart.net. And we'd love to communicate with you. And if you have a sales team and you would like them to sell from the heart more, we'd love to speak with you as well about the services we provide. But what an amazing, amazing time. Larry, I'm grateful. We've got so many great guests coming up. Just buckle your seatbelts, get ready. Make sure to like or subscribe. You don't want to miss a week in Selling from the Heart this fall.
No, none whatsoever. I just want to wrap up, say we're grateful for everyone. This podcast started 7.5, almost 8 years ago now. And you've been cheering us on all the way. I made a commitment at the beginning of this year. We're going to search out new voices with some new, unique thoughts. I think we stuck to it. Wait till 2025. The bar is just going to start getting raised higher and higher. And Darrell, you know where I'm going with this, but we're going to bring some voices onto this podcast that will blow you all away.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Until next time, keep being genuine, keep being authentic, keep building trust, be proactive in having conversations with your customers. And most of all,
sell from the heart.